You're watching This Week in Louisiana Politics with Fred Childers.
Well, good Sunday morning to you. I'm Shannon Heck. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. Ongoing controversy with the Louisiana State Police emerges following the release of a new video shared by the Associated Press showing troopers beating a black man during a 2019 arrest. Ariel Salg brings us the latest in the case.
Louisiana State Police are once again under fire after new video shows troopers repeatedly hitting Aaron Bowman on the head 18 times with a flashlight. In the video, you can hear Bowman telling troopers he was not resisting. Aaron Bowman is now seeking justice.
I kept thinking I was going to die that night because all I can do was breathe. I'm scared.
He is accusing LSP of hiding the 2019 footage. Bowman's attorney Ron Howley says troopers were out of line.
The fact that they try to justify this as some type of pain consequence or pain compliance, that's just sadistic.
Bowman says the encounter left him with a broken jaw, 3 broken ribs, and a gash to his head that required 6 staples.
When I seen that tape, it was like reliving it all over again. You know, I don't lie, I couldn't help myself. Watching it, I broke down all over again. You know, it's just, you know, I wouldn't want nobody to go through that.
This incident happened just 3 weeks after Ronald Green, who died in state police custody following a traffic stop in Monroe.
Governor John Bel Edwards shared his response after the video was released. He said, "This situation is very concerning after evaluating the evidence." Louisiana State Police concluded that Trooper Jacob Brown not only engaged in excessive and unjustifiable force, but he failed to report the use of force to his supervisors. He went on to say that he has confidence that Colonel Lamar Davis will make important changes. And for the first time in 8 years, the family of a man killed during a raid by Baton Rouge police spoke to East Baton Rouge City parish leaders. Jonah Gilmore reports on the emotional exchange at the Metro Council.
It basically felt like the same day all over again for me and my family.
Tears from a mother hurt and pleading.
My son. I saw a picture the other day. I had never saw so gruesome.
The family of Don Turner Robertson face to face with the East Baton Rouge Metro Council.
I believe his demise was rather personal.
You wouldn't want someone to pull up on Port Hudson and snatch one of your daughters out of your home and do to them what was done to Tron.
Turner was allegedly killed by a BRPD officer following a no-knock warrant in 2013.
We have pictures that do not match the results of what that investigation is, or at least does not match the results of what that sheriff's department told to the news media.
According to Police Chief Murphy Paul, the incident was investigated by the sheriff's office.
The investigation was worked by the sheriff's office, the criminal investigation. There was an administrative investigation that was conducted by the previous chief of police, and that investigation concluded.
The family says they are thankful for the opportunity to address the council, but justice has yet to be served.
I'm going to always be empty behind this situation.
This week, tragedy hit Baker High School after a 14-year-old student passed away following a battle with COVID-19. Baker Mayor Darnell Waits released a statement saying that young Mr. Sanders had his entire life ahead of him, one full of ambition and promise. Mayor Sharon Weston Broome also sharing her condolences, saying every death from this virus is met with immense sorrow, especially the passing of a 9th grader. She says this goes to show that even our youngest and most resilient loved ones are at risk. And as vaccine mandates become the norm with full approval of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, the LA Wallet app is helping people easily show off their proof of vaccination. Earlier this week, our Jaron Jordan and Courtney Williams sat down with Representative Ted James to hear about his experience with COVID-19 and the app that his legislation helped create. Take a look.
I want to start with your reaction to, first of all, to our biggest universities, hospitals, and even businesses now mandating vaccines, or folks can face some pretty serious consequences.
You know, I'm excited about it. As someone who survive COVID. I think that it's the right thing to do. We are continuing to see a rise in the number of cases. Now we're starting to see young people impacted. Our young citizens, I have a 4-year-old daughter, she can't get vaccinated. So if we want to enjoy certain things like we did prior to COVID, I think we need to take the responsible steps and get vaccinated.
And a lot of people, downloaded that Louisiana Wallet app. I know I have it, and it's very convenient. So for those who are not familiar with it, how does the app work? And if people want to put their, vaccine information in the app, how could they do so?
So it's very simple. Download LA Wallet. I think it's still free right now. Your driver's license pops up, right? If you have an issue with your license, it will notify you. Then there's an icon there at the bottom where you can click to COVID-19 vaccination status. It should automatically populate. If it does not, that means it may be an issue with your name may be different from your ID, or whatever name you use at the doctor if you've gotten married, or if your address is different. Then you could go to the LDH website to make sure that your information is added, because LA Wallet talks directly with Louisiana Department of Health. It's safe. It is not something that can be altered. So I think that most folks, businesses, as they start to mandate vaccines, will trust the app.
Yeah, and this is something that works not even just in Louisiana. I was in Chicago this weekend, and I showed the Louisiana Wallet app to show my vaccination status, which was accepted as well. You talk about the differences with the names, and that's something that I think people have been experiencing over the past couple of days and weeks as more places require this proof of vaccination, knowing that there might be a name change if someone got married and their last name is different than at the time they got their vaccination card. What's the best advice for those folks? They need to contact LDH?
Yes, I would go to ldh.gov. There's a link there where you can input the correct information. You can also contact your medical provider the place that you received the vaccine. I'll tell you, we've been getting calls from all across the country. We've been the only state with a digital driver's license. We thought it would just be something about convenience, but now this is an app that I think will lead to saving lives, because it will stop folks from being granted entry that aren't vaccinated, and it will keep the rest of us pretty safe.
Absolutely. Talk about being ahead of the times. When this was launched a couple of years ago, it was only just for the IDs, and now something that's proving to be crucial as we continue to hopefully come out of this coronavirus pandemic. State Representative Ted James, thanks so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Some good information from Representative James there, but not everyone is in favor of the vaccine mandates around the state. People gathered outside Our Lady of Lourdes in Lafayette to protest the mandate for healthcare workers.
That's what we're here for, is choice, the freedom of choice.
Fighting for freedom. Freedom's not free. Standing for my community, standing for freedom, and we're out here standing in the gap for our community. That's what we're doing.
We want people to have a choice.
That's right.
I am absolutely not anti-vaccine. I am anti-mandate and pro-choice, period.
Dozens rallied outside of Our Lady of Lourdes this afternoon.
The vaccine has been given full approval by the FDA. The Pfizer vaccine has been given full approval by the FDA, and most of the major hospital systems in the state have mandated their healthcare staff to be vaccinated to help protect their patients and coworkers. And as students return to school, parents are asking for better communication when their child is exposed to COVID-19. One school district in St. Landry Parish is using an app to stay on top of those exposures.
The State Department of Education has issued guidance for schools statewide that anyone in close contact of a COVID-positive student may be contacted as part of the Office of Public Health's contact tracing process. In St. Landry Parish, instructional technology and media specialist Tricia Fontenot says the district has an app with a text messaging feature.
The administrator works with the school nurse, establishes the close contacts, and sends those parents a notification through text messaging.
Fontenot says it's a system of notification that seems to be doing what the school district hoped for.
Way to identify specific groups. So whether it's group of girls that maybe was in a PE class.
Over in St. Martin Parish, the superintendent explains the process for notifying parents about COVID-positive cases and close contact.
Under normal circumstances, someone from the school is contacting the parents with a personal call, and those students who do test positive or who are a suspect case are given a letter with instructions to follow.
In cases where a large number of students need to be quarantined and it's late in the day, some parents may receive an automated call.
Just due to the fact that it's the end of the day and a lot of calls have to be made and they need to be made quickly so parents can make arrangements.
This week, Congressman Troy Carter welcomed the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to New Orleans on Friday. Carter requested the visit to show how the fourth surge of COVID-19 has greatly impacted the state. They talked about better ways to battle the Delta variant and expanding access to health care. They toured the New Orleans Children's Hospital as Delta has been impacting more children than previous surges. They also visited Dillard University to talk about confidence in the vaccine. Secretary of State Kyle Ardwin announced that he will not be activating emergency election plans for the upcoming elections. He says with the widespread availability of vaccines, elections should be able to move forward safely. The secretary says that only a small percentage of the people utilized the emergency rules to submit absentee ballots in the elections last year. He says masks will continue to be available at polling sites, and the next election is set for October 6th. And one of the governor's top cabinet members gave an update on the state budget this week with insight into withheld funds for New Orleans and the Superdome. Hear what he has to say on what is on the horizon for the state's finances.
Millions of dollars were held back for construction projects on the Superdome and in New Orleans. It is believed to be motivated by GOP dissatisfaction around the proof of vaccine rules. Commissioner of Administration Jay Darden says that he believes the funding will get approved.
It's not going to be fatal for the projects. It's not going to end the projects.
But if the projects don't get approval next month, he says it could present an issue. Darden says the state is doing well financially with a surplus of revenue and American Rescue Act funding flowing through the state. There is still around $1.5 billion federal dollars to be allocated by the legislature next session.
None of this money will be plugged into our operating budget, and I think it can all be used for very worthy projects. It's just going to be a question of which ones are they?
Darden says all the money that was allocated this session won't be completely used, so he hopes that anything left over will go to one-time spending on infrastructure.
The most important need in the state for one-time money is for infrastructure needs, because we know the difficulties we have with our roads, our bridges, our ports, our broadband. All these needs are much greater than what we have dollars for.
He also touched on Rescue Act funding going towards cities and villages to help with the impact of the pandemic, and he urges every town to apply.
In response to that withheld money, the New Orleans construction funding, Mayor Latoya Contrell said that she believes that this action was made due to the proof of vaccination rule in the city. She points out that funding goes to the Children's Hospital, the port, universities, and the Superdome. She said the Republicans who voted to stall the funds want to put control over the city, but she will keep the measures to slow the spread of the virus. Coming up, we hear how the LA Wallet app is serving Okay. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is your local election headquarters.
Southeast Louisiana is bracing for Hurricane Ida, almost exactly 1 year after Hurricane Laura devastated Lake Charles. Elected